What's going on, everybody? My name's LeakyTapsMan, and this is another This Week in Gaming, where I bring you up to date with everything that's gone on in the world of video games for the entire week. And I'm going to quickly talk about the gameplay actually, because it's something that I don't usually do, but I feel the need to here. I'm aware that in this video I get my ass handed to me, but the reason that I uploaded this is because I am playing against a pretty big YouTuber called Insomulus, and I'm not one for getting starstruck, but I thought, yeah, this guy's pretty big, so maybe people will enjoy watching me getting my ass handed to me, so here it is. In fact, head-to-head wise, I actually bested him, I believe, so take that, you jerk. Anyway, on to the actual news part. There has been a buttload of pretty big announcements, and I'm going to start with probably the biggest of them all, and that is that Hideo Kojima confirmed that Metal Gear Solid 5 is in development. He gave some very scant details, but he did say that it will use the Fox engine and will also have conversation trees. He also mentioned that it will take certain mechanics from Deus Ex that he enjoyed, so definitely worse games he could be copying. Deus Ex is awesome. And although Metal Gear Solid 4 was a bit too cutscene heavy for my liking, it was still a very good game to actually play, so I'm looking forward to this one. And also this week, the inevitable happened. Nintendo revealed a new 3DS model. It's called the 3DS XL. This thing is absolutely massive. You need to see a picture of it in comparison to the original. It's 46% larger. It's going to cost $200. It's out in August in the USA, July 28th in Europe. Quite surprising that it's out first in Europe. That doesn't normally happen. Now, I've got no qualms with Nintendo releasing a new model. It's perfectly understandable given the success of this structure with the DS. What I cannot comprehend is that this new model doesn't have a second thumbstick. They made a massive deal out of this new attachment that adds a second thumbstick, and then to not include it in the actual next iteration seemed like a backward step. So kind of an illogical choice there on Nintendo's part, I think. Speaking of another illogical choice on Nintendo's part, it's been confirmed that the new Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS and Wii U are actually going to be developed by Namco, which is kind of really disappointing in my opinion. I know Namco have experience with fighting games, but I don't know, Nintendo need to make Super Smash Bros. Or HAL Labs, whatever the company is that actually does this. But outsourcing a game as important as Super Smash Bros. Is not the way to go in my opinion. But I guess it could be in worse hands than Namco, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But don't you harm my baby or I will effing murder you. That goes for a lot of Nintendo files. Okay, something else this week. It actually happened last week, but it went under the radar, to myself included, and I just found out when a workmate told me. But a reboot of Abe's Oddysee is being made for Xbox Live Arcade. This isn't just like a HD update, this is a fully remade copy of the original game. So they're building it up from scratch. It's done by Just Add Water, which did the Stranger's Wrath, is it, I believe? Basically that game, the HD update of that. It's due in the summer of 2013, and I am freaking psyched because I love Abe's Oddysee. And another HD update announced this week was a HD iteration of Okami, which was a Zelda-esque game on the PlayStation 2 and most recently on the Wii. Basically, this newest version's coming out for the PS3. It's download only, which is an absolute fail, but it's Capcom, so what the hell do you expect? It's going to cost $20. It's got some new features like 1080p obviously, move support, and trophies. It's coming out this fall. Great news, Okami's an awesome game, but how about you get working on that sequel? Alright, also this week, it has been rumoured that a new Final Fantasy VII version of the game is going to be released on the PC before you get your hopes up. This is apparently just Square Enix adhering to the Steam requirements so they can release it on that platform. This all came from the fact that Square Enix purchased the domain name for FinalFantasy7PC.com, and because Steam has certain requirements to release your game on their platform, then Square Enix are making those said changes. Supposedly the game's going to come out on July the 15th, it's said to include 36 achievements, cloud saving, and will cost $7.99, so it's not going to be a HD update like so many fans are clamouring for. It's just basically going to be the same game, but with a few updated features, which is a step in the right direction. But if Square Enix really want to make some bank, then they will just release a HD update for next-gen consoles, and I think pretty much everyone will collectively cream their pants, myself included. Sorry to be quite disgusting with that analogy. Another thing this week is some Saints Row news. I mentioned a few weeks ago about how they were doing a standalone expansion called Enter the Dominatrix. Well, the actual expansion has been cancelled. It's not cancelled in the traditional sense of the word. They're actually going to be still doing the same content, but they're going to incorporate it into Saints Row 4 instead. In my opinion, this is probably good news. It will make Saints Row 4 more substantial, and I was quite apprehensive whether Enter the Dominatrix expansion would have enough content to really justify purchasing it. And I'll finish on a couple of more minor announcements. There's a new God of War bundle coming out. It's called the God of War Omega Edition. It includes collections 1 and 2, which include God of War 1 and 2 and the 2 portable games updated in HD and trophies, etc. It's got God of War 3 as well, and you get a bronze statue, which actually looks really cool, and a lot of other basically collector's edition incentives. I can't remember the exact specifics, but if you're a massive God of War fan, but for whatever reason haven't got some of those games, or at least in HD, then it might be worth picking up. I'm tempted to get it myself, actually, seeing as I haven't really given God of War much of a chance. And finally, Ubisoft have announced that they're doing an Xbox Live Hits collection. It will include Outland, which I have been playing this week, and it is an absolutely fantastic game, From Dust, and Beyond Good and Evil HD, which is also a fantastic game. So 3 very good games. It'll cost £17.99 in the UK, which is a saving of about £6, nothing massive, but if you prefer having your arcade games on a disc instead of downloading them, then it's a great alternative, and those are 3 games that are well worth a try. And it is out on the 22nd of September, so that more or less summarises everything that's gone on this week in the world of video games. And I shall also do a brief channel update. I asked you guys last week, what would you prefer for my first genuine bona fide commentary, and the general consensus was to do my top 25 games of all time. So you can look forward to that in some capacity this week. I'll probably do numbers 25 to 11 and then 10 to 1 in another video. But the other topics I will do, that's a Q&A session, and also games that deserve sequels. They will be coming in the future, just not necessarily the very near future. So a big thank you to everyone that voted. I will more than likely keep doing that, where I give you a list of topics and you can vote on them, seeing as I've said in the past that I'd like to incorporate my subscribers more, and I feel that's an initiative that would do just that. So a big thank you to everyone that's watched. If you could like the video, that would be grand, and if you're not subscribed to me, then every sub is like a hug, and I am an addict. A hug addict, that is, so it would be appreciated. Goodbye.